It's finally coming! World of Warcraft Midnight Alpha is set to release on October 2nd. It's been officially announced by Blizzard, so ladies and gentlemen, it is on. We're into the second expansion of the World Soul Saga. Really cool, exciting stuff to talk about. I want to just chat to you guys about things to come in the alpha, talk about the roadmap that they've released, and then all the details to fill you guys in so you're up to date with everything that we know right now about the Midnight Alpha. So that's the plan here. Big thing that you're going to want to do if you haven't already is sign up for the beta, and I think that should also include you in the alpha if they're going to be doing alpha invites. That should be all you have to do, and just sign up and just connect your account. It's also on the WoW main homepage, so you can do that there. Now, the alpha is going to release October 2nd as of the releasing of this video. That's about 9 days or so from now. They've also given us some tidbits on some other things detailing the alpha and some things to look forward to and some things that you guys can get involved in if you want to learn more about what's to come in the alpha. So, on October 1st, there's going to be a live Q&A at 9 a.m. Pacific, which for Europe is about 6 p.m., England 5 p.m. On October 1st. It's going to be on Twitch and it's going to be on YouTube. They're going to be talking about systems, settings, story, and more. That's what they've given us. So from the sounds of it, just detailing a lot of stuff about the expansion. A lot of things that we probably didn't cleanly get at Gamescom. I don't know if you guys were involved in some of this, but there was a little bit of critique of how Blizzard handled the releasing of information during Gamescom. I think this is going to rectify that. I think we're going to get everything that we need to know during this live Q&A and during these system talks that we're going to be getting. Now, importantly, in one of these talks, we're going to have the return of Chris Metzen. He's finally going to be back in front of the camera, sitting down with Ian, talking about Zone's story and features. So this will also be releasing on the same day, on October 1st. I'm really excited for Metzen to be back in front of the camera. I know at Gamescom he was supposed to be involved in some kind of talk or something. Maybe like a pre-release video or something. That didn't end up happening. Who knows? Maybe they had a shift in some of the development or something, or who knows? I don't want to speculate too much because anything could have happened, and we don't know. So Metzen's going to be back though. Now he officially announced the World Soul Saga back at BlizzCon 2023. Was it? I want to say this was during Dragonflight, and he got to detail the War Within, Midnight, and then I can't remember the third one, actually, but the Titan one at the end. So this is now going to be a lot more, he's going to be a lot more involved in the story and the development of Midnight onward. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to have to say. And so the Metzen Ian talk is one that I'm personally going to be really looking forward to. Again, that's October 1st, that's going to be happening. So we then have the alpha releasing October 2nd. Now, you guys might be wondering who's going to get invited. How can you get invited? As I said, go sign up for the beta, and that should have you covered. I don't know how extensively they're going to be inviting people in the alpha. Generally, alphas are more tight-knit. It's generally, so they've said it's going to be community veterans, press, fan sites, friends, and family. Now, the only one there that it's kind of open to interpretation is the community veterans. Is that streamers? Is that people who have been subscribed to the game for a long time? I don't know. Is that people who have done previous alpha and beta testing? I don't know exactly. I would assume it's a mix of a few of those. So I'd imagine if your account is in good standing and you've been playing for playing for X amount of years, then you might have a chance of getting into alpha. Absolutely, there's going to be streamers getting in. If I get in, I'm going to be doing extensive testing. I've seen other streamers, Mr. GM and stuff, saying about how they're going to be doing a lot of testing should they get into the alpha. We know this angers quite a few people when they're like, oh, why do the streamers get it? Well, first of all, you don't see the non-streamers that get it because they're not streaming, so you don't know that they've gotten it. But also, this is really good advertisement and good marketing for Blizzard to get content visible for people, so that everyone can check it out. And yeah, I don't know, it's pretty exciting to share with your communities. I'm really excited to go and test a bunch of stuff. I'm going to be doing extensive testing. And getting into that then, let's chat about the roadmap. So the roadmap here is probably the most exciting thing that they've given us during this alpha announcement, because we've never really had anything like this before, I don't think. We did have a War Within roadmap and a Dragonflight roadmap of the actual development of the expansion, but this is it's fine. It's nice to have it actually just visibly jotted down here that we can know what's to come. You might decide that actually there's a certain phase that you specifically really want to test, and some of the others you're less interested in, or you want to tune in and check out some streams and stuff when that stuff is live. Maybe, who knows? And it also gives us potentially some good scope on knowing when the beta will come out, because it will probably happen after Phase 5. Now, I'm not going to go through absolutely everything here. It's on the screen. You can have a look at your leisure, but they're going to be testing the leveling experience, so 80 to 83, then 83 to 88, 83 to 88 again. Then we're going to start to get to the end game stuff where you're going to be able to test the last zone and then the max level content a bit more. There's a few things that I do want to pick out here, though. So Phase 1, we are going to have housing. So this is set to release, I think, a little bit before Midnight actually goes live. But this alpha experience is probably the best time for them to extensively test the housing with a lot of people hands-on. At Gamescom, we were able to test it. I did some testing of it. I did a stream of it, actually. And really fun. Try it. Please try it. If you've done housing in Final Fantasy XIV or Guild Wars or another game, then your input will be very valuable. I would say if you do get alpha, check it out, or go and watch some streamers who are doing the housing and maybe give your input there. Maybe in the Q&A. Oh yes, I didn't mention in the Q&A you can actually get your questions answered. So if you go on Twitter and you tweet at them with the hashtag MidnightQ&A. Not an ampersand, but the actual word and Midnight Q&A, then you can potentially get your questions answered there. But yes, as I mentioned about the housing, it's really fun, really intuitive. It just works really cleanly. I'm excited to see how they're going to decide where you're getting housing items from. Some of it's going to be profession-based, they've said. And then hopefully some outdoor stuff, like going to old zones, old dungeons, old raids, old experiences, as well as new experiences. Should be really exciting. So we'll see how that goes. That's housing. Gonna have a couple dungeons to test and stuff like that, which is cool. The new Delve Companion, Valera. Hopefully a step up from Bran. We will see. The big one here being the Devourer Demon Hunter spec. So if you are unaware, there is a new Demon Hunter spec releasing. Blizzard kind of did us a little dirty with Soul Hunters in the current raid tier, where a lot of people speculated that Devourer or the new Demon Hunter spec was going to release when that boss was killed. That didn't happen. It is coming in Midnight Alpha, or I guess or Midnight pre-patch will be when it officially releases. And there's also some class updates. What those will be, don't know. I'm hoping that there's going to be quite extensive revamping of a lot of specs. It was a little bit dry this expansion. We didn't get too much for most specs and classes, and a lot of things were kind of just left on life support for a little while, and Blizzard was just doing aura buffs and aura nerfs across the board. I'm with Bellular. I think that hopefully we're going to get quite a lot of changes now, and that's why we didn't get much during the War Within. Now, this could just be pure cope, and maybe they've not got that much to change, and they just, I don't know, ran out of budget or something, who knows, in terms of the War Within class changes. But excited to see what updates are to come. There's going to be profession updates as well. That'll be cool to see if they improve on the system that we've had since Dragonflight now. What else? So Phase 2, pretty, basic stuff. Delves, dungeons, story zones. Same again in Phase 3. Now, there are encounter warnings in the UI update. So this is the first mentioning of UI feature inclusion in the alpha. Encounter warnings sounds interesting. How that's going to go, I'm very excited to see. That'll be extensively tested, I think, by a lot of people, especially people in high-end content. So we'll see how that goes. Phase 4, the big standout one for me, is the Apex talents. I had a chance to chat with Jade Martin, who is lead class design at Gamescom, and we spoke about Apex talents, and he kind of said about how, and I think there are probably some interviews out there that you can check out discussing Apex talents, I think with Kexman, I think he had one, where they might have spoken about Apex talents, but basically what this is capstone at the end of your spec tree, because obviously we're going to be leveling now going into the new expansion up to level 90. You're going to get some new talents, but it's going to be Apex talent based. So the Apex talent is a big, fat, juicy talent node that's going to give you either like some big, fat new ability or something special, something unique in a big talent. And then there's going to be some supportive nodes, which are not necessarily going to be attached to the Apex talent. Some of those might just be more general for the rest of your spec, because from what Jade said, they don't just want you to feel like all of your damage and all of your power, let's say if you're a tanker or healer, like all of your power is in this one talent, and then outside of that you feel limp. So they're going to have the Apex talent, but they're also going to have some assisting things that are going to affect the rest of your tree. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm really excited for Apex talents. If they do them well, I think it's going to be an additional balancing act now that they're going to have regular talents, so spec tree, class tree talents, hero talents, Apex talents, and distinct tier sets for each hero talent as well. There's a lot of noise, tuning nightmare, but maybe that's the point. Phase 5, we're going to get the new prey system. This is the big thing for me. So we're going to get the prey system. This is, if you haven't seen about this is like a new leveling experience or a new outside world experience that you can choose. You can opt in or out of it if you want. Basically, this is like hunts that are going to occur while you're out in the wild. So while you're leveling, questing, and whatnot, there are going to be these prey targets. Now, I don't know if we're the prey or they're the prey, but basically there's going to be a big baddie out there. Sorry, not a big baddie. There's going to be, don't get excited. There's going to be a big bad monster out there, and we got to kill it. And we're going to be out questing, and then it's going to like gank us, and then try and 1v1 us, and there's going to be difficulty scaling, so you can do like an easier version or like a nightmare mode. I think it was one of them called. It was called. So this should be really exciting. Actually, make the leveling experience a bit more dynamic, a little bit more exciting. That these events can occur while you're leveling, and it's not just very static. So I'm excited for the prey system, especially because it's got difficulty scaling. I think that's really important in modern gaming. People want different degrees of challenge. Now, what reward you're going to get from these, I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe it's going to be like extra XP potions or mounts or gear, like an array of things maybe. So that'll be exciting to find out more about that. And then we have, I guess, just some week 1 to 4 content available. So I guess early stage, week 1 to 4. Okay, I'm just thinking actually, does week 1 to 4 mean that this is actually going to be week by week of the alpha? So phase 1 is week 1, phase 2 is week 2. So that this means that all 4 weeks are available in phase 5 as well as all of this. I've just now started thinking that that's potentially what they mean. They could also mean like beginning of the expansion, like end game content, like what would be available during the early. So maybe things like a bit of Mythic Plus and that kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know exactly, but that's got me thinking now. So that's everything from the roadmap. Really excited to see how this alpha is going to play out. I'm excited for some of the zones, the dungeons, stuff like that. Let me know what you guys are excited about, but look forward to alpha releasing October 2nd. If I get access, I will be streaming a bunch of it. And then also October 1st is the Q&A, so get your questions in if you have any, and just look out for the content to come there on October 1st, 9 a.m. PDT. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the alpha soon.